The night began like any other, quiet and heavy, with winter winds crawling across the city, as if carrying secrets too dark for daylight. I remember walking down that narrow alley, boots crunching over broken ice, my mind rehearsing the conversation I had been avoiding for years. The streetlights flickered above me, not from any electrical fault, but as if they too were trembling from something unseen. That was the night I learned that fate does not knock, fate barges in. Uninvited, unstoppable. When I reached the old wooden door of our family house, I hesitated, feeling a tremor in my chest, sensing the kind of silence that only follows tragedy. As soon as I pushed the door open, a cold gust rushed past me, carrying the faint sound of someone crying. The living room lights were dim, shadows stretching across the floor like dark fingers. And there, seated on the edge of the couch, was the one person I thought I knew better than myself, my younger sister, trembling, pale and broken. Her eyes lifted toward mine, hollow and flooded with terror. "They came," she whispered, "and they took everything." At first, I thought she meant thieves or intruders, but as she spoke, the truth unraveled like a nightmare, woven too tightly to escape. This was no robbery. This was a message, a warning, the beginning of a storm we never saw coming. I approached her slowly, afraid that even the sound of my footsteps might shatter what little strength she still had left. In her hand she held a crumpled piece of paper, edges torn, words scribbled in a desperate hurry. That paper wasn't just a message, it was a threat. "You thought you could hide," it read, "but everything you love has a price." My blood ran cold. I hadn't told anyone about the past I fought so hard to bury, the people I crossed. The choices I made when survival forced me into darkness. Whoever left that note wasn't just threatening us. They were reminding me that my past had finally caught up. As my sister tried to explain what happened, her voice wavered, cracking under the weight of shock. She described masked figures, the sound of boots on our wooden floors, and a voice, calm, confident, deadly, saying my name as if tasting it. It was then I realized this wasn't a random attack. They were looking for me. They wanted something I had, something valuable enough to tear apart the little piece we had built. And they were willing to destroy everything in their path until I gave it up. My sister's fingers clung to my sleeve, desperate. "You have to stop running," she said. But running was all I had ever known. And now, the people I loved were the ones paying the price. The air outside felt heavier when I stepped out, as if the entire neighborhood sensed the danger hunting me. Street after street passed in a blur, every shadow resembling a figure, every passing car a threat. I needed answers, and there was only one person who knew enough to help me, an old friend turned informant, someone who owed me more favors than he could count. When I found him in the back room of a dimly lit cafe, he looked up with the expression of someone who knew trouble had finally arrived. "They're back, aren't they?" he asked before I even spoke. His tone wasn't surprised. It was resigned, like he had been expecting this moment. He told me about a group resurfacing after years of silence, a coalition built from the ashes of enemies I once escaped. They called themselves the Collectors, people who did not forget, who did not forgive, and who always reclaimed what they believed was theirs. Hearing that name again felt like being dragged underwater. My friend slid a photograph across the table, and when I saw the face in it, my breath caught. It was their leader, the same man who once offered me a way out, then hunted me when I refused. "They want your ledger," my friend whispered. "They think it exposes all of them. Except it didn't. Not yet. But it could. And that alone made me dangerous. I went back to the house only to find it colder, darker, as if their presence still lingered in the walls. My sister, exhausted from fear, finally fell asleep on the couch. I covered her with a blanket and sat beside the window, watching snowflakes drift under the streetlight, each one falling with silent cruelty. I pulled out the old box hidden beneath the floorboards, dusty, locked, untouched for years. Inside, it wasn't money or weapons. Inside, it was the ledger, a small, leather-bound book filled with names, dates, accounts, and secrets, powerful enough to break an empire of criminals. Secrets so dangerous that owning them was a death sentence. That's why the collectors wanted it. And that's why I could never let them have it. As I turned the brittle pages, memories cut through me like shards of glass. Faces of people I trusted who betrayed me. Missions that cost lives. Deals that chained me to a world I never chose. I realized something then. Running wouldn't save us anymore. The only way to end this was to confront them. To fight. To use the very thing they feared most. And for the first time, I understood that the darkness I ran from was the same darkness I needed to survive. I arranged the meeting at an abandoned factory far outside the city, a place where the walls still echoed with old industrial ghosts. I wasn't foolish enough to walk in unarmed. I came with a plan. The moment I stepped inside, their shadows appeared one by one, forming a circle around me. Then he emerged, their leader, the man whose voice haunted my sister's memories. He looked older, colder, like someone carved from stone. "You brought it," he said. "Good." I held the ledger up, watching their eyes fix on it with hunger. But this time, I wasn't the one trembling. "You want it?" I said. "Come earn it." Their leader smirked. He always enjoyed the game more than the victory. But he had no idea how much I had changed. They moved first, fast and silent. But I had spent years preparing for this moment. Every punch, every move, every ounce of pain turned into a weapon. And as the chaos unfolded, I realized something shocking. I wasn't fighting for survival anymore. I was fighting to reclaim myself, to break the chain they had wrapped around my life. The battle wasn't clean, and it wasn't quick, but it was final. When the dust settled, the factory was silent again, except for the sound of my own ragged breathing. Their leader lay on the ground, defeated, his eyes staring at me with shock. Not because I beat him, but because I refused to be the person he expected. I tossed the ledger beside him. "This ends tonight," I said. "All of it." I walked away, leaving him with the very thing he wanted, knowing that the secrets inside would destroy them from the inside faster than any bullet could. The snow outside felt cleaner, brighter, as if the world was finally breathing again. But the victory wasn't without a price. My hands shook, my body bruised, my mind replaying every moment with painful clarity. I knew I couldn't return to the life I had before, not after this. But I also knew I wasn't running anymore. Freedom wasn't about escaping the past. It was about confronting it and choosing who you become afterward. And for the first time in years, I felt something I thought I'd lost forever. Control. When I finally returned home, the sunrise was breaking across the sky, casting golden light through the windows. My sister woke up the moment she heard the door, rushing toward me with fear still in her eyes, until she saw my face. "It's over," I told her, and for the first time, she believed me. We sat together in the quiet morning, both changed, both scarred, but finally safe. The world outside was still dangerous, still unpredictable, But something inside us had shifted. We were no longer victims. We were survivors. And survivors don't hide. As my sister leaned on my shoulder, I realized that life was offering us something rare, a second chance, not to forget, but to rebuild, to heal, to begin again. And with the weight of the past finally lifted, I knew exactly what I needed to do next. The future wasn't a shadow anymore. It was a path, and this time we would walk it without fear.